Hey everyone, okay, so today we're going to be doing, I guess, a little bit of a review demonstration of this amazing concealer that I've recently just found. I think it's pronounced KOSAS, and I thought we would do a nice fresh face look with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it both as a foundation and as a concealer, and then we'll put a bit of colour on. So I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to start with 04N. And what I'm going to do is just dot this around the outside perimeter of the face and a little bit on the nose as well, and a spot on the chin. You know I'm quite conservative, right, when it comes to base application. I'm going to take 02 and I'm going to apply this just to the inner portions of the face, because I want this area to be slightly lighter. And then what I'm going to do is take my number 2 brush, which is this beautiful brush here, and every time I'm now going to very lightly start to buff around the edges first. And what I want to do is create a really kind of sheer layer of coverage, see where it takes us, and then I can decide if I want to add any more product on. And I'm going to go in with this slightly lighter one. So I picked the lighter one, and it's not going to be dramatically different, but what it does is it just adds a small amount of light to that inner portion of the face. And this brush is so soft that it's not going to, irritate your skin, because it really just feels like nothing on the skin. So that was one very lightweight coat, and I'm very pleased with that. I love this concealer, is so good. I'm just going to pick up that bloody concealer that I just dropped, wheel myself in, and I'm going to add a touch more, just a touch more, just on the kind of inner areas here. Yeah, just a touch on the outside corner. We'll then use it as a concealer, I promise. But I'm a really big fan of using concealers as foundations, because they contain generally more pigment, they contain less slip, so less silicone in them, which I really like. And I just think it gives, I feel when you're using a concealer, you tend to because it's like a new thing, you go in cautiously, whereas with foundation, we're so used to applying it that we kind of just slap it on, because that's the amount that we use. And concealer, we kind of just see where it takes us. So I'm gonna have to just do a touch here, because my beard underneath, the skin underneath, is quite red. And it can just stand out like a sore thumb. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to conceal underneath the eyes. So I'm going to use 03, and I'm just going to apply it to the inner portion of the eye to begin with, because I want to see how it goes. So I don't want to over apply things. And I'm just going to take a brush, and I'll put links in the description, but I'm just going to start to move this in this kind of inner area, because that's where I think it looks the most beautiful. And then I'm just going to use my finger just to kind of pat and press it into the skin, and making sure that it kind of bleeds here, so that you're not left with too much harsh light, that it does meet somewhere, it does sort of dissipate somewhere, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to add a touch to this outside corner of the eye, and maybe a bit to the brow bone. Whatever's left on my brush, I'm just kind of knocking it off in the back of my hand. And now I'm just going to very lightly just go underneath the eyes. I'm just going to move my mirror a bit closer, just to try and take away a little bit of the redness that happens when you start to conceal. You don't normally notice it on your everyday face, because your face is all different colors, but when you're applying base products, you can suddenly notice that the skin underneath the eye can get a little bit red. I'm just going to go just over the eyelid as well. I really like this concealer. It looks so natural in this light, and I used it on a model that I did a video for here, which you'll see, and you may have seen by the time this goes up, but it was so beautiful on the skin. I'm going to take a couple of drops and I'm just going to dot this onto my ear. This is my one, so I can do that because I just want to take down some of the redness in my ears. Now I think that is really lovely, but before we do anything else, I am going to go around the outside perimeter with a slightly deeper shade just to add a bit of contrast. So I've just dotted it around the outside portion, and I'm just going to kind of shoe shine it on to this area. I've actually applied way too much. This is my own kind of stupidity, but it's just going to give a little bit more depth to the skin. And because I've used such a light hand anyway, it isn't going to make a big difference if I just add, because I need to add a little bit more light because I just overdid it. It's my own silliness, but I did. So I'm just going to need to go in, I think, just a tiny bit with the lighter color because I don't want it to be too dark. Just really kind of buff that in. All right, that's lovely. So I'm going to add some face color. So I'm going to use this one here by Joe Blasco, Liquid Blush. And I'm just going to add kind of drop to the back of my hand. I'm not terribly familiar with this product because you never know, it might be a little bit too concentrated or it might be a bit too sheer. So we'll see. It's quite sheer. That's great. So I'm just going to kind of buff this in. And again, it's just to add a little bit of color. That's very nice. That's really nice, that product. I'll add a little bit more, I think, because it really was quite on the sheer side. So I can kind of afford to just kind of build that up a little bit. Touch above my eyebrows as well, which I really quite like. Now, the beauty of this brush is just that it's nothing. It feels nothing on the skin. So you're able to really blend away all those edges without it being disturbing what you've just done or being harsh on the skin or anything like that. I think what I'm going to do is just add a touch of powder to the T-zone area. So I'm going to use Nars, the Crystal Translucent, and I'm just going to take my number 4 brush. I always think with the Nars one, it's really deceptive. You're sort of going over it. There's nothing really on there, but then you realize there is. And I just want to kind of go just here, right down the center of the nose, because I really don't want the sides or the center of the nose to be shiny. Right here in this inner corner of the eye, and down the sides here, because these are areas, personally speaking, I don't think look that great when they're shiny. I really like that finish. I think that finish is really, really lovely. It's a great, I can't believe I'm only just kind of knowing about this brand, but so far it's just really, that looks really nice. I'm so pleased with that. Let me know if you've tried this brand, if you like it, if you don't like it, leave your comments in the comment section. I think that's splendid. I think that's really splendid. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.